The air hung heavy, thick with the musk of sweat and fear. A symphony of clanging bars and muffled whispers echoed through the cold concrete corridors. This was Altiplano, Mexico's most secure prison, a fortress for the country's most dangerous criminals. Its most infamous resident, Joaquín El Chapo Guzmán, was about to perform his greatest trick yet, disappearing into thin air. El Chapo paced his cell, a caged animal restless in its enclosure. His eyes, dark and intense, darted across the room, taking in every detail. Years of planning, countless bribes, and a network of loyal soldiers, all hinging on the next few moments. Outside, the guards patrolled, their faces etched with boredom. No one, not even the world's most notorious drug lord, could escape from this concrete behemoth, or so they thought. El Chapo stopped pacing, his gaze fixed on a seemingly innocuous shower stall. It was time. One step into the stall and his world would change forever. One step and he would vanish. Altiplano was more than a prison, it was a statement. A concrete and steel testament to the Mexican government's determination to keep El Chapo under lock and key. Its walls housed hundreds of cameras, monitoring every inch. Motion sensors, laser beams, and pressure plates formed an invisible web. Guards, handpicked for their ruthlessness, were rotated regularly. Even senior officers couldn't predict who would be on duty. The prison was a fortress designed to break the most cunning minds. Yet, within Altiplano's walls, El Chapo found a flaw. With the patience of a predator, he found his way out. Joaquín Guzmán had not risen to the top of the drug world by being naive. He was a master strategist, a chess player who always seemed to be several moves ahead. His mind, a labyrinth of its own, was constantly working, calculating, plotting. Altiplano may have been a fortress, but every fortress had its weakness. He knew the guards, their routines, their weaknesses. He had studied the blueprints, memorized the blind spots, the subtle shifts in the camera angles. He had spent months, years even, planning this escape, meticulously piecing together information, cultivating alliances, and exploiting every chink in Altiplano's armor. His escape wasn't just about brute force or blind luck, it was about intelligence, about outsmarting a system designed to crush him. It was about using his enemies' strengths against them, turning their arrogance into his weapon. He would show the world what he had always known. El Chapo was not meant to be caged, he was meant to be free, and tonight, that freedom was within reach. Altiplano prison was a monument to confinement. Gray walls stretched towards the sky, a harsh contrast to the brilliant blue canvas above. Barbed wire, glinting menacingly in the fading light, encircled the perimeter, a stark reminder of the futility of escape. Within those walls, beneath the watchful gaze of surveillance cameras, El Chapo moved with the stealth of a phantom. Every step had been rehearsed, every movement timed to perfection. He was a shadow, flitting through the labyrinthine corridors, his presence undetected, his purpose unknown. The air, heavy with the stench of sweat and despair, did little to dampen his spirits. Tonight, hope bloomed in his chest, fueled by the promise of freedom. He could almost taste it, sweet and intoxicating, a stark contrast to the bitterness of confinement he had endured for far too long. The prison, for all its imposing might, felt different tonight. It no longer held him captive. It was merely a stage, and he, the master of his own destiny, was ready for his final act. The unseen hand. Unbeknownst to the guards, a network of loyalists had been working tirelessly, their efforts shrouded in secrecy. Tunnels dug with painstaking precision snaked beneath the prison walls, a testament to their unwavering dedication. A motorcycle, modified for speed and silence, awaited El Chapo at the tunnel's end, a mechanical steed ready to carry him to freedom. The plan was audacious, bordering on insane, yet it was meticulously crafted, each detail meticulously planned, each contingency accounted for. Bribes had secured the silence of those who could not be trusted. Threats, whispered in the dead of night, ensured the cooperation of those who valued their lives more than their duty. The escape was a symphony of corruption and desperation, a testament to El Chapo's reach and influence, and at the heart of it all was El Chapo himself, the conductor orchestrating his own liberation. He was the spider at the center of the web, his threads of influence reaching far beyond the prison walls. He was the unseen hand, guiding the destiny of those who served him, their fates intertwined with his own. A glimmer in the darkness. El Chapo reached the shower stall, a nondescript fixture in a cell designed to strip away individuality. He knelt, his fingers tracing the outline of a loose tile, a flaw so minor it had escaped the notice of countless inspections. Beneath the tile, hidden from prying eyes, lay the entrance to his salvation, a dark abyss promising freedom. He pried it open, the metallic clang of the tile against concrete swallowed by the cacophony of prison noise. A musty smell wafted from the opening, the scent of damp earth and anticipation. El Chapo felt a surge of adrenaline, a heady cocktail of fear and exhilaration coursing through his veins. He took a deep breath, steeling himself for the descent. This was it, the culmination of years of planning, the moment of truth. One step into the darkness and he would leave behind the confines of Altiplano, the weight of his crimes, the title of prisoner. One step, and he would be reborn. The disappearance. El Chapo disappeared into the opening, the tile sliding back into place, erasing any trace of his audacious escape. The tunnel, dark and narrow, embraced him like a tomb, the air thick with the smell of damp earth and the weight of 1,000 unspoken hopes. He navigated the passage with practiced ease, his body remembering the route, his mind focused on the promise of freedom that lay ahead. The silence, broken only by the rhythmic thud of his own heartbeat, was deafening. It was the silence of anticipation, of a storm about to break. Time seemed to stretch, each second an eternity as he inched closer to his destination. He could feel the weight of the earth above him, the concrete and steel of the prison he was leaving behind. But he felt no fear, only a steely resolve, a determination to reclaim the life that had been stolen from him. The tunnel, his path to redemption, led him onward, a beacon in the darkness, a testament to the indomitable spirit of a man unwilling to be caged. He was El Chapo, and he was coming back. The tunnel opened into a dimly lit chamber, the air thick with the smell of exhaust fumes. A motorcycle, its engine idling softly, stood like a mechanical steed awaiting its rider. El Chapo threw his leg over the seat, the familiar weight of the machine grounding him in the surreal reality of his escape. He slipped on a helmet, the visor coming down, obscuring his features, transforming him into an anonymous rider, a phantom of the night. He gripped the handlebars, feeling the thrum of the engine vibrating through his bones, a symphony of power and freedom. He twisted the throttle, the engine roaring in response, a defiant growl that echoed through the confines of the chamber. The sound, muffled by layers of earth and concrete, was a beacon of hope, a siren song calling him towards the surface, towards the life that awaited him. He was a man possessed, driven by the intoxicating promise of liberty. El Chapo gunned the engine, the motorcycle surging forward, carrying him along the tunnel's remaining length. The wind, whipping past his face, carried the sense of freedom, fresh air, damp earth, and the faintest hint of pine. He emerged from the tunnel's mouth, blinking in the sudden glare of the moonlit night. The world stretched before him, vast and limitless, a stark contrast to the suffocating confines of his cell. He was free. The night air, cool and crisp, filled his lungs, each breath a celebration of his audacious escape. He could feel the weight of the prison, the weight of his past life lifting from his shoulders. He was no longer El Chapo, the prisoner, the drug lord. He was simply Joaquín, a man reborn. For a moment he allowed himself to savor the sweetness of his victory, the intoxicating feeling of liberation. It was a fleeting moment, a stolen breath of freedom before the reality of his situation sunk in. The silence of the night was shattered by the piercing wail of an alarm. The guards, alerted to his escape, were now in hot pursuit, their anger fueled by the humiliation of being outsmarted. The chase was on. El Chapo pushed the motorcycle to its limits, the engine screaming in protest as he sped away from the prison, his heart pounding in his chest. The road ahead stretched before him, a ribbon of asphalt winding its way through the desolate landscape. He could see the prison in his rearview mirror, a dark monolith silhouetted against the horizon, the flashing lights of pursuing vehicles growing ever closer. He had tasted freedom, but it was a fleeting taste, a cruel reminder of what he had to lose. But El Chapo was not one to be easily recaptured. He had planned for this, anticipated this moment. He had contingency plans, escape routes, and a network of loyalists ready to aid him. The motorcycle roared into the night, carrying El Chapo further away from the prison, further away from the life he had left behind. The chase had begun, a desperate race against time, a high-stakes game of cat and mouse played out on the desolate highways of Mexico. The night air crackled with tension, the silence punctuated by the roar of engines and the distant wail of sirens. El Chapo, his heart pounding in his chest, knew that the authorities would stop at nothing to recapture him. He was a prize too valuable to lose, a symbol of their authority and his escape, a humiliating blow to their pride. But El Chapo was a survivor, a man who had stared death in the face countless times and emerged victorious. He would not be taken alive. He would disappear into the night, a phantom, a legend whispered on the streets, a constant reminder that even the most secure prisons could not hold back a man determined to be free.